Yo, welcome to Trippy Commentaries and our WWE RAW reactions. This is part 2. Definitely make sure you guys go check out part 1 if you skip that, because we are going to get into another epic episode of RAW. And just make sure to tune in every Tuesday here at Trippy Commentaries. We'll bring you awesome WWE coverage, the best on YouTube. So make sure to join us each and every Tuesday, because you know we'll be here for you, and you know we'll be talking about the latest in the WWE. I'm RJ, and I am joined once again by our resident wrestling expert, C-Dub. What's up, Corey?
What's going on, man? I'm not sure I'm necessarily an expert, but I'm certainly an enthusiast. And as RJ said, make sure you tune in every Tuesday for all the hard-hitting Trippy Commentaries WWE coverage. It's almost like a triple power bomb from the Shield. It's that impactful.
Well said, Corey, well said. Last time we left off with a huge matchup between Bray Wyatt and Sheamus. I predicted that Sheamus would come out the victor in this upcoming ladder match, but that is before I knew that Bray Wyatt was going to be in it, along with some other guys who joined up that we saw in tonight's Raw. But this was a pretty good match. Corey, what'd you think about it?
I thought it was a great match. This whole first hour of Raw, man, I mean, it was all just really, really well booked. It all flowed seamlessly together. You know, to me, it was almost kind of like they front-loaded the show, which is a good thing with it being a 3-hour format. And it's always good whenever they've got so many young guys out here that the crowd is interested in, that have been booked well, like Bray Wyatt and Sheamus, that they can get into. But, like I said, this was a great match. Of course, Harper and Rowan were at ringside. We saw the Usos come out to even up the score about halfway through the match on Sheamus's behalf. It was back and forth action. The crowd was into it again. We ended up seeing, just as we thought, Sheamus might get the momentum and go for the brogue kick for the victory. We saw Harper and Rowan interfere, grab Sheamus while he was in the corner, of course giving him the win by disqualification. At that point, it pretty much broke down into a big brawl. Of course, there was the ladder at ringside that Bray Wyatt was doing his little interview, his promo under, and of course that came into play. We saw a little brawl with the ladders. The Wyatt family was knocked to the outside, and we saw a pretty cool move. Sheamus grabbed the ladder and leaned it up against the top rope and then held it by sitting down underneath it. And we saw both Usos vault off of that, use it like a ramp to hit the Uso crazy big dive onto the Wyatts. It was pretty cool. That's one of those moves that if they would have screwed up, the whole crowd would have just made them eat shit. They hit it perfectly, and it was a good close to that segment. It's definitely got me excited for the tag team title match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that was a truly impressive move, man. Good point, Corey. That is definitely an easy move to mess up. I've definitely walked on some ladders in my time, and it's pretty easy to miss one of those steps, and these guys are running at full speed. Not just one of them, but there's two of these guys. They pulled it off pretty flawlessly, and it was kind of a cool move to see. The Usos have a huge matchup coming up with the Wyatt followers, and unfortunately I see them losing the belt there, but we'll get into that at a later time. The next event we saw here, Corey, your boy Rusev, he came out kind of introduced with, of course, the lovely Lana there, a new Mount Rushmore. What'd you think of that?
That was pretty hilarious. Rusev come out with Lana and, of course, the easy anti-USA Russian, promotion, the whole Vladimir Putin tie-in. Of course, it's easy heat. It's, as I said in previous Raw reviews and, other reactions to Rusev matches, it's an easy, ancient formula. You take something topical, someone that the United States is feuding with for political reasons or whatever, is in war with, and you put a character on TV. That's been a classic Vince McMahon maneuver, even Vince McMahon Sr. going back to his father. But we saw Rusev, of course, come out and just absolutely destroy Heath Slater. And I got to take one moment to say the fact that Heath Slater was not fired last week, along with his cohorts Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre from the 3MB, that alone is a win in itself for him. If it were me, I would have fired Slater and Mahal and kept McIntyre. Of course, we saw Rusev just absolutely demolish Heath Slater. It was super quick. And after the match, we saw Rusev actually, or perhaps it was before the match, he actually spoke English. Of course, he speaks the Bulgarian, but then after that, he basically said that Rusev is a unstoppable fighting machine, and he certainly was that tonight. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Rusev get into a bigger named feud, much like the one that he had going with Big E. I thought they would maybe keep that going a little bit longer, but they didn't. They're booking him strong, and we'll get a little bit more into Rusev, of course, whenever we talk about the big Battle Royal, which Rusev was in.
Yeah, we actually saw Rusev pretty much in that very next match. He didn't seem too tired, although he destroyed the one-man band now. 1MB, I guess you can call him, and that was kind of a cool speech. It was interesting to hear him speak in English there, C-Dub. Rusev seems like a nice guy, and it was really cool to see him in this Battle Royal. That was the next match. In fact, it was a little bit strange because, there were so many big-time wrestlers in it with Bad News Barrett, Rusev, Roman Reigns, among others. Pretty big epic event now that we saw Reigns was in it. And Rusev has never really lost before, so I felt like he had a legitimate chance at winning this as well. Go ahead and recap tonight's huge Battle Royal, Corey.
Yeah, well, it did seem like Rusev was almost instantly right in the Battle Royal, but it's easy for you to forget about. There's not really a lot for us to talk about. But, of course, there was a little throwaway match with Kevin Hart on commentary, the comedian. It was a mixed tag team match, Fandango and Layla against Adam Rose and Summer Rae. Rose won with the party foul, and Kevin Hart joined the Exotic Express, another big fat raspberry.
Yeah, I guess he did have a break.
But yeah, we saw, fortunately for us, right after that was the Money in the Bank qualifier Battle Royal. Something that was kind of funny, we saw Damian Sandow in his continuing role-playing, I guess, or dress-up that he's doing every week. This week he was LeBron James, which I got a legit kick out of. It was a pretty standard Battle Royal. There weren't a lot of big names in it. Of course, Roman Reigns, Rusev, Big E, Ryback, Curtis Axel. There was a couple decent names in there that I could have seen win. But in the end, the last two we saw were Roman Reigns, who got his way in there, of course, by forcing Stephanie McMahon to vomit all over Vicky Guerrero. If you catch that in part one, definitely go back and look that up. That was gripping television. The last two in the ring we saw, Reigns and Rusev, it was a big powerhouse versus powerhouse face-off there. I would like to see those guys have a feud in the future. Maybe if Roman Reigns is fortunate enough to win the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank, perhaps that could be one of his future feuds.
I gotta say, Corey, that was the moment I think we've all been waiting for, because as I kind of alluded to, we had Rusev and Roman Reigns were the two big guys we kind of assumed were going to win. To have them go one-on-one, that to me was a extremely epic showdown, and not one that I expected to see tonight, that's for sure.
No, but of course, Roman Reigns hit the Superman punch and eliminated Rusev off of the apron, and did qualify, as I mentioned, for the Money in the Bank Battle Royal, the Money in the Bank ladder match for the WWE Championship at the pay-per-view. So this is going to be a huge match. We've got, as we covered in part one, people who have qualified thus far: Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio, United States Champion Sheamus, Cesaro, Bray Wyatt, and now Roman Reigns, all qualified for the big ladder match at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Easy for me to see.
And of course, we would see John Cena go against Kane as the main event in tonight's Raw, and that could lead to another participant in that match. We'll get to that shortly. We had one of my favorites, Paige, come out here, Corey. She defeated Cameron, another one of the divas that she defeated. One thing I gotta ask you about here, I mean, this special finisher move that she's got, her submission hold, the PTO. We're gonna debut a top 5 finishing moves list pretty soon here, Trippy Commentaries. The PTO definitely needs to be considered, because at this point, it seems like if she gets you in that, you're done for. Unless you can somehow get a rope break, which is impossible because she's got you wrapped up totally. You're done for. This is a pretty impressive move, and Paige is using it to her advantage.
Yeah, definitely. You know, one similarity I wanted to point out, which of course we did see these two face off in NXT in what was a really, really great match, surprisingly. Emma, Santino's little awkward buddy from Australia, she uses a similar finisher where she bridges back, and it's also a submission. You know, I could see if Paige continues to fight off contenders like Alicia Fox, Cameron, perhaps Naomi, any of the other Funkadactyls which may be remaining in the company other than Brodus Clay. You know, I could see Paige and Emma eventually having another big showdown like they did in NXT. They're both young. They have the similar styles. You know, I could see that being big money. Of course, hot off the heels of that big NXT takeover, you know, we saw that great match between Charlotte and Natalya, which, you know, it kind of lended a lot of credibility to the future of the Divas division in WWE, I think.
I hope so. I still wish they would get Paige a little bit more involved. Would like to see her in a storyline other than her just holding the championship. But once again, she gets the victory. She holds on to the belt, and I'm sure we'll probably see her getting challenged by someone at Money in the Bank. But we still have to see who it is. Perhaps it's Cameron or someone else. Who cares? We finally found out who Goldust's partner was, Corey. Stardust. What can you say?
Well, Stardust was an early nickname of the father of Goldust and Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, the legendary American Dream Dusty Rhodes, if you will. But tonight, you know, we saw Goldust team up with Stardust, who is apparently Cody Rhodes, against Ryback again, and they managed to win. Cody got the win with an interesting finishing maneuver. It's, I believe, Simon Diamond back in the day in ECW used to use it, the Diamond Dust. It's basically Cody stands on the top rope or on the second rope and flips over his opponent and basically gives him a stunner, it's a pretty sick looking finisher. I don't know about Cody Rhodes and this Stardust thing. Honestly, I feel like this is going to be something that's super short term, and Cody is going to turn on Goldust finally. I mean, it's clear that's what they're going to build up to. Goldust is not going to be, put over as some future star because, let's face it, that's not what he is. I'm sure that if he could get his brother over to, the main event spot and finally keep him out of the mid-card, that would be great for him. I expect to see more of this Stardust and Goldust thing, but not too much of it. Maybe they might have a match at the pay-per-view, but I expect to see Cody Rhodes, or a.k.a. Stardust, turn on his brother very, very, very soon.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about this off-camera as many as probably 3 weeks ago, but of course, especially in the last few weeks, you've been saying that you thought perhaps Cody Rhodes gets rebranded here. I was very excited. I'm a fan of Cody Rhodes, and I definitely think that he is underutilized right now in the WWE. This was not what I had in mind at all, and I don't know how this is going to work out for Cody Rhodes. Do you see this getting him up to the, a better status here, Corey, or is this going to be a flop?
Well, I mean, as I said, I see this being short term. I think if they keep it that short term, just use it as a way for Cody to come out and get a bunch of wins, week after week again. Maybe then have Goldust lose a few more times, and Cody says, "See, it was all me to begin with. I'm the best one on the team." Turn on his brother, and then, of course, start a big feud. One in which he would obviously go over. As I said, Goldust, he's not going to go over in that feud, or any feud, really. But, the fact of the matter is, as you said, Cody Rhodes has been underutilized. He's not bad in the ring. But, he just needs that push, that one little thing, that extra spark to get him going. And this very well could be it, and getting going into a feud with his brother and getting the big victory.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. That's definitely a left turn there. Let's go ahead and talk about the final event, Corey. John Cena versus Kane in a stretcher match, a match that we thought we were going to see between Daniel Bryan and Kane at the, of course, Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up. With Daniel Bryan out, that's not going to be the case. They moved up the match to tonight, and they replaced Daniel Bryan with John Cena. If John Cena could defeat Kane, he would be another participant in the championship ladder match. This was a pretty interesting match. It was back and forth. I didn't think it was the greatest match in the world, Corey. I don't know what you think, but we did see Cena hit the attitude adjustment on Kane through a table. That really knocked out Kane for a few. We saw Seth Rollins come out and try to interfere, show up from the shadows, along with Randy Orton. I guess neither of those guys wanted to see Cena in the championship match. And then even Dean Ambrose kind of came out to save the day, but he ended up just getting chokeslammed by Kane anyways. Pretty crazy match. Like I said, I was a little bit disappointed. It wasn't super entertaining to me at some points. What did you think?
Well, I have to agree with that sentiment, man. Like I touched on earlier, it seems like the company really front-loaded the show tonight. Hour one was it was flawlessly booked, man. It was perfect. And then hour two had a couple segments that kind of dragged on, But, hour three, it seemed to, rather than picking up steam, it did momentarily for that big battle royal, it seemed like. But it seemed like for this main event, the slow, methodical style, of course, of Kane. John Cena, he gets mixed reactions anywhere he goes. This kind of seemed underwhelming, after what was, to me, a big front-loaded show. There was, it was decent for what it was. There was some good brawling. As you said, we saw a lot of interference between all the key players in WWE right now. We saw Kane almost get the victory. He went for the choke slam as they had the stretcher on the stage, right close to the finish line, where you have to put your opponent on it and push it, of course, over that line to win. And John Cena ended up reversing it for the attitude adjustment and won the match, and ended up qualifying for the Money in the Bank ladder match for the title at the big Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So, of course, now that brings us up to 8 participants in that match. We've got Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio, Cesaro, Bray Wyatt, Sheamus, of course now, John Cena.
Yep, John Cena. So once again, John Cena, Sheamus, Cesaro, Bray Wyatt. Who am I leaving out here, Corey? Obviously Roman Reigns, which is a huge participant.
We've got,
and Randy Orton.
Alberto Del Rio, Bray Wyatt, Sheamus, Roman Reigns, and now I do believe we have John Cena.
Yes.
Is that all of them? I'm pretty sure we covered them all, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know if you said Randy Orton. It's acceptable to forget him anyways. But this is crazy, Corey. We definitely have to talk about this. This is going to be pretty hard to predict. My initial prediction was Sheamus. I know yours was Cesaro. Now it's just craziness. Roman Reigns could get the championship here. Bray Wyatt could get the championship here. Or it could go back to this guy right here, John Cena, and he could just add to his legend. I don't think you would be a fan of that. I certainly am rooting for Sheamus to win this thing. I think it might be too early for Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns. Thank you guys for joining us for another installment of WWE Raw Reactions. Make sure to stay tuned every Tuesday for our coverage. Peace out. C-Dub, I know you're there in Cleveland. Take it out for us. And hopefully next Monday can be just as epic as these past Raws have been.
Oh, Yeah, man. Hopefully so. I'm going to enjoy my time in Cleveland and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We want to make sure to thank all of our viewers for making last week's Raw reactions our highest viewed Raw reactions to date. Thanks a lot, guys, for viewing. Make sure, as RJ said, you subscribe, share, and tune in every Tuesday for more hard-hitting WWE coverage. As always, stay tuned and stay trippy.
Adios.